There we go. Now you even have some audio. So we start off with a live view of my belly, and now you've got audio. I think your day is complete. All right. I have not turned third camera on. I'll get to that at some point. Hello! This is Edward Kranz, the Honey Badger Binder of BookForge. I made a list of things that I need to do today because I haven't been staying on course very well, and I get derailed easy enough, and that's hearing from the puppy. I needed some coffee. All right, so some of the things that we're going to be doing. No, wait one moment. I want to say hello and welcome to a couple of our newest members. Obviously, I'm not going to use names, but they just signed up on the Patreon page for BookForge, and we are grateful. We're up to 9 now, which we started out at the beginning of the year with none, so we're adding almost two a month. So I'll take that. The proceeds that we get from you guys signing up for the tier levels, it's going to go towards some better equipment. Right now we're using webcams, and it's doing its job. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. But I'd like to get some decent mirrorless cameras, kind of pocket cinema cameras, 35 millimeter style, to help improve the video content. As I get into filming tutorials and things like that, I think having a better video quality would benefit everybody. I'm also looking at different lights. Right now I'm just using the light in the Bindery Studio. But yeah, thank you and welcome. So, hey, we can cross something off the list. Woohoo! Look at that. All right, so some of the stuff we're doing, I've got a couple family Bibles. One is almost done. We're going to tip in some additional family, birth, marriages, death records into the book at the client's request, and then that project will be finished. That is it's a 1891 family Bible. I'll get it out here in a minute or two. I got a couple things I need to do on the bench before I start that. The other one is another 19th century family Bible, and we have it dismantled. I need to work some of the end folios, get them either tipped back in. I'm sorry, the dogs are distracting. All right, so let's see what else we got going on. Animal Farm. Holy cow. So we've been working on Animal Farm for what seems like forever, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit later on. I think I'm gonna do a video on kind of the business aspect of bookbinding, the pros and cons of doing a production run as a traditional hand bookbindery. Definitely learned some lessons on this particular project. So we're going to talk about that video in a little bit. Let's see, other things we've got going on. I got things written down here, and I'm already derailed. So I'm just going to jump into it. The first thing that I'm going to do today is, Animal Farm. We're talking about Animal Farm. Whoa. So Animal Farm, which we've been working on forever, is nearing its end. We've got 338 complete. We've got 24 that we are going to essentially start from scratch. Over the months, apprentices and even myself, mistakes were made. We burned through our 20% extra material, and we're in a spot now where I've got to make some new cases to get these done. Our delivery is supposed to be 365. I have enough material, and specifically one in particular, which was a letterpress cover, that that's all I have. We're going to end up with one shy of 365. So I think that'll be okay. I've already talked to the publisher. They understand, and they've accepted the decreased amount. But I need to cut up some material. I've got to make some board spines, the wrap material. That way my mother can continue. Yes, my mother helps out here at the bindery from time to time. Quite a bit, actually, during the animal farm. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is get those cut so she has something to do other than stare at me. All right. So I'm going to see. We'll get this thing tracking me because I'm going to go over there in a minute. And get the GoPro up and running. Because I want to change camera angles. I'm going to have some coffee. Honey Badger binder fuel. All right. So, boom. All right. Look at that. So we now have our aerial view. That's the top of my head. We've got the talking head view, if you've been watching. And now we have the across the table view. That's what it looks like without me in the way. Let's see if we can. Boop. All right. So I'm going to get to work. Now the way the BookForge Live works is I usually do a little commentary at the beginning. I introduce what's going on. We say hello. We welcome new people. Thank you. And hey, thank you to the people who've been around. A couple of you have been staunch supporters, and I'm eternally grateful. Marcia was supposed to be here today. She wasn't able to make it. That happens. We're getting to a point when Animal Farm winds down and is done. I will probably reinstate the Bookbinder's Apprentice program and bring Sharon and maybe, I'm forgetting the other lady's name.
Marcia.
No, she's already here.
Oh. Sharon and...
Oh, well. You know who you are. The stress of Animal Farm was getting a little bit too much. And that's part of what I'm going to talk about with the business aspect of it. When you're doing bookbinding, I think one of the things we did is we shot ourselves in the foot by starting off with vellum bindings, which it's a very difficult medium to work with. A lot of bookbinders, they'll play with it once or twice and then they put it aside because there's really not a huge demand for it. But this particular book run required a quarter vellum binding, not as difficult as a full vellum binding. So we took it on, but I had people who had no experience with bookbinding trying to help me. So not only were they trying to learn the fundamentals of bookbinding, they were working with a material that was notoriously bitchy. And I use that word because that's the only term for it. So, like I said, I'm going to do a video. It's going to include, yeah, you're going to have to clean that up. She went over there. Mm-hmm. We have a puppy. Yay, and all the joys that come with puppies. All right, so yeah, so you'll start seeing the apprentices around here a little bit more. Marcia started back a week or two ago. I have her working on some 17th century flexible bindings or bullet journals, and we're going to put Cambridge panel designs on them. They're going to be quite lovely. I'm not sure what I'm going to have the other guys doing, but we'll see when we get there. Can you please not make my boards? Come on. Guys, come here. Come here. Come here, little girl. You want to see the puppy? That's the big dog. So, bite the beard. So this is the puppy. We got this for my mom for Mother's Day, and her name is Rain, and she's 8, going on.
No, she's 9 or 10.
No, you haven't had her that long. She might be going into her 9th
March
month.
27th?
Yeah. March, April, May. It's just
Almost
beginning of
now.
June. No. This is you're still in the beginning of June. She was born on the 26th.
Okay.
So, you do the math.
I'm tired.
March 28th. It's her birthday. And
She's full.
she's full of it. So, all right. Got your cuteness overload? Ah! All right.
Get over here.
That's in addition to Loki, which you'll see Loki walking around. He's a regular Bindry dog. All right, I'm going to start. Oh, so I was talking about how this usually works. So I do this morning monologue, blah, 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 blah. And then we just go about our business. So whatever I have on my bench, I don't really do a lot of talking while I'm working. And if you have questions, type them into the comments section. That's the interactive part of this video. I check every, 20, 30 minutes to see if anyone's made any comments, but this is, people are accessing it through Facebook, they're accessing it through Patreon. So I'll go through and I'll answer, I'll check the Patreon one, and I'll respond. If I don't respond to you right away, if I get distracted, the day goes on, the video ends, or you're watching this at midnight 3 days from now, make a comment, suggestions. What do you want to see? What do you like? Wants, desires. Tell me whatever you want, and I'll respond to you. I will, honest. I love the interaction. I want to hear from you. Hey, post one of your projects. Tell me about it. Anything. So, all right, I'm going to get to work. See you in a bit.
That's not a toy. She's still. No, this is the board she had yesterday.
So I already have these sized, so I just use one of the old boards as my measurement. That way I don't have to keep measuring these out.
Where's Lucky?
But I will double check to make sure that these come out about the same, because they have another binder making cases,
Come here, Lucky.
and I can't have these being the wrong size.
This will work very good. Gotcha. It's okay, Loki.
Six, 8. these will become spines. That's why I'm using the drop. But I can also use this to tell me I got the right height, which I did. I'm just going to sit these up here for a minute. Yeah, let's see if you guys get a better view from that camera. Well, probably not. Well, maybe. Let's see. I have a monitor, but it's so dang tiny. We have a big screen TV. Well, it's an older one, so it was big back in the day. And I'm going to set it up here so I can actually see comments and see my video, so I know what's going on.
All right, Rookie. That's okay.
So the machine I'm operating is a late 19th century, early 20th century board shear. I'm guessing it's probably early 20th century. It's made by the Standard Machine Company in Mystic, Connecticut, according to the plaque on it. I purchased this from the head conservator, the University of Cornell, when he retired, about 4 or 5 years ago now. Well, 4 years. I think it's been quite 5. Got a lucky break. He sold me a lot of his equipment at a ridiculously low price. And I'm eternally grateful for his generosity. He wanted the equipment to go to someone who was going to use it, and I'm going to use it. You believe before I had this machine, I cut all of this stuff by hand. A razor knife. That was miserable.
It's not yours.
Okay.
No.
I think I'm going to go back to, I'll put the little window in there. Alright, so I need enough to make 12 books. So I should have 24 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, I ended up with a couple extra. All right. And as you can see, these come out really nice and even. They're all cut the same. So I'm going to give these to my mother. And then I got to cut the pages for her wrapping.
Thank you.
There you go.
And I'll make paste.
Yeah, you got to make paste, don't you? you'll be all right. All right. Usually I'd take this over to the guillotine, but I'm pretty sure it would just take me longer to get that thing set up to do these two little cuts. And it's such a small stack. I'm just gonna There's some scrap paper for Marcia. Marcia takes a lot of our scraps home because she does her own little projects. One day I'll make the little setup that the gentleman over at DOS Bookbinding has. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, there are some great tutorials on his channel. He's I think he's an engineer by trade, and he brings that kind of mindset to the workbench. He researches the project thoroughly. He'll give you quotes and examples from some of the masters in the books that they've written. Highly recommend it. DOS Bookbinding. Now, it's not German. He's from Australia. But yeah, I mean, if I'm ever in doubt, he's one of the sites that I go check. Love the guy, love his work. Should I count these or do I have enough?
What are you doing?
Sniffing. Did you spray that area with Nature's Miracle?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Here, could you take these and count them? That should be enough wraps. I can get you going once you get your paste made.
3 to 6. Would that be enough for 2 jars?
You don't want 2 jars.
What?
We keep throwing this stuff away. We're making way too much.
I want 2.
You want 2 scoops.
To 4 water.
No, it's 1 to 6. So 2 scoops would be 12.
Okay.
So we're talking about making wheat paste. So there's specific recipes, but typically what we do is whatever you're measuring with, 1 scoop flour, 6 part water. If you're making starch, I usually go 1 to 4. And that's what I have on my bench is starch because I'm doing some restoration work while she's doing new binding. It's on the shelf, middle shelf. You can use that if you want.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. And when you make your scoops, you want them. They don't have to be flat. Go ahead and if they're mounded or whatever, that's fine too. All right. Now I need to make some spines up. Okay, I did do that. All right, so the spines are 21 millimeters in width. Oh, I got a ruler right there. The board shear doesn't like cutting things that thin. So while I've got these already cut to height, I'm going to go 21 millimeters. And I like using a razor to mark my lines, especially on the boards, other things too. Sometimes a pencil can be thick. What do you need? All right, so cases, wraps. So if you're wondering what I'm writing on, like I said, I have a list of things that I need to get done or I want to cover with you guys today. I have a larger list underneath it of things that, but basically the whole week. But this is kind of my day's plan. So I don't think you don't have to use those.
Okay.
I cut new boards for everything. Let's just go ahead and
Use these.
yeah, because once you said that when you painted the ends they puffed up, I was like, we're done. That was the end of that. All right. So what I'm going to use to cut these because the board shear doesn't like cutting something so narrow. So I'm going to take it over to the paper guillotine and use that. Oh, and it's already set from the last time I did this. Well, isn't that special? Just going to get some sheets to put on top and underneath it. That way, now what are you looking for?
That little monster. She's over here. Under my chair. Okay. You go see. Good girl. It's okay. I need water. Take you with me. I gotta go out again.
I cannot wait for Anafar to be done so I can reset my bindery. My God, this place is a mess. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sharpen my guillotine and my board shear. Because while they're still working good, I can tell that they're aging as far as the edge sharpness. It's taking a little bit more pressure to get it to chop down. Alright, so the boards netted me what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 spine stiffeners. I need 12.
I have 14 of these. So we're all set.
It's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, I'm just going to cut a couple extra.
That's 12 of these. And 12 of these.
I lost my camera. My camera lost me. There we go. You back? All right. Spines. So you're set for a while?
Yeah, I'm making the piece like I do the boards.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And?
They don't mind you when I'm done with these.
Okay. That'll be a few minutes. Scraps.
I have to put these in the refrigerator.
Yes.
She's very funny.
So you wrap the boards, they go in the press overnight because they're using straight paste.
Mm-hmm.
When you glue up the spine connecting strip and the spine stiffener using PVA, they need to be in a minimum of 20 minutes or longer.
Okay.
And you still lost me. Don't want to turn all the way. Oh.
Doesn't like me.
Well, I don't know about that.
I do.
What's there not to like? Scooby-Doo. Uh-oh, copyright infringement. Don't sing. I can't sing. Let's see. So, this is going to seem ridiculous, but I have an Etsy order I need to fill. So, one of the goofy things you get to watch me do. So I have an Etsy shop, and I've been making books since 2012, and I still have some books in there that I made back in 2012 because no one bought them. So I ran a 50% off sale, and someone bought. This was a model I made off of one of the Thinking Out of the Box Bookbinding. So it's a book that holds cards. Someone bought that. You can buy text blocks from Talus and a couple other places. This one here happens to have a grid pattern on it, and you just basically case them in. So that was a project I did just to kind of mess around and see what the text blocks were like. This is an old, just a basic journal. I think it's blank. I don't think it has lines. Yeah, it's just blank. Nice end papers. German Bradle in 3 parts. It's one of my favorite structures. Love it. And then this was a really early leather binding I did. Not the best. Corners needed some work. The end papers didn't register correctly. But it does have a nice like linen paper and some lines, so hopefully someone enjoys it. So I'm going to wrap these up and get them out the door. So what I'll do, I'll get the package ready, and then when I'm done with this at 3, I'll run it down to the post office. Yep.
She's sleeping in my spot.
That happens. I have a pet peeve about poorly packaged books. I think if someone's going to take and spend their hard-earned money, just throw a book in a box. That's why I hate ordering from Amazon. You never know what kind of condition the book is going to show up in. But there's booksellers out there that literally will do that. They'll just throw a book in the box. It's not wrapped. Gets damaged in transit. They don't care because, you know, insurance, right? But I think that's a waste. It's one of the reasons our shipping costs are so damn much. Nobody gives a damn. So I make sure everything gets wrapped, packaged, bubble wrapped. Okay, one down. I'm looking at.
That's weird.
So the sale that we're running right now, the sale that we're running right now is 20 to 50% off, depending what the item is. A lot of the stuff is priced to go. It's been in there way too long. And in the fall, I'm gonna purge the site and the books that we have in there are all going to be fairly high end. I know I'm talking to the monitor, not the camera. Because you make a book and you sell it for $20 or $30. By the time the shipping, because Etsy, of course, wants you to ship everything for free. You pay the Etsy fees to pay the shipping, the cost of materials. I don't make much on those books. So the Cambridge bindings that I have Marcia helping with, we have some medieval girdle books that are going to be in there, and regular medieval books. We're going to have some photo albums that are going to be pure leather. So everything in the shop is going to be $250 to $400. And it's not because I think that I need to charge that much, just the amount of labor that goes into these older book structures. These aren't your normal, hey, I'm going to jot in this and throw it away. It's not something you're going to go get in Barnes and Noble or Walmart or whatever. These are books. These are like heirloom keepsakes. These are going to be really awesome books. And that's the market. It's the only way I can make money. I can't focus on these. I don't make money on these. And it's not all about money, but if I'm going to make them to sell, I got to make some money. I got to pay the rent. My wife likes it when I have an income. A lot of what I do is more restoration work, and that's where most of my income comes from. And this will be talked about in that video I talk about the business of bookbinding. I don't know if I'm going to make that a weekly or a monthly series, but I definitely think there's some lessons learned that would benefit aspiring bookbinders who think they're going to make a living out of this. It's not an easy market. It's niche. And you might be able to make a book and you might be comfortable selling it for $20, but think about how much you need to make a month to pay just your rent. Don't factor in your car, your insurance, food, utilities, the cell phone, everything that wants to have a freaking subscription to it. And then try and figure out, okay, for me to do this, I need to sell X amount of books at $20. And then when you look at that number, how many books that is, and you're going to crap yourself, then ask yourself, how many books can you make a month? And then you'll wonder, you'll understand why when I say I'm going to be charging $250 to $450 for a book, that's why. Now, BookForge, we're going to have a lot of stuff on here that it's not necessarily geared towards traditional classrooms. It's you pay attention, you're going to learn a lot. Now, my website, bookforge.online, notice it's not a .com, it's a .online, which I know is odd, but bookforge.com was taken and not being really used. We're going to have a lot of subscription-based tutorials where you can go take a class and go through it and learn how to do a particular structure. Or you can sign up for like Bookbinding 101, and there might be 15 or 20 classes in there, and you work at your own pace. That's the kind of stuff that once I get Animal Farm out of the way, I really expected to be further along with the website than I am. I'm also the web developer, I'm the marketer, I'm the designer. Yeah. All right. So once I get my books all wrapped up, and to protect them from the elements, they get a poly bag because I want to make sure my clients get their product. Now, are these big enough for these guys? Woo-hoo, yeah, there. All right. I was wondering there for a second. Okay.
going to have you check that paste.
If it's paste, and it looks like paste, cook it for another 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then call it good. Alexa, set a 20-minute timer.
20 minutes, starting now.
Or cook it until it's the consistency that you want.
Wow, this is the paste. And it's good, guys. I think it needs to wait a little longer.
There you go. Well, Alexa will tell you when 20 minutes is up.
In 20 minutes will be 2:12 p.m.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to get a taller bag for some of the books.
I think I got a square container over here. Maybe.
Come on. We reuse boxes as much as possible. And reuse packing material as much as possible. Take off the old labels here. All right. So you're probably going to lose sight of me for a few minutes. I'm going to print out my label. Don't go away, I'll be right back.
I think you should do just a tutorial on paste.
I have.
Oh, you have? On how to make it? All of them?
God, I wish you paid attention to what I do.
I'm brain dead.
You can tell me to fuck off anytime you want. It's okay. Your boy says, final 24 copies of Animal Farm in sight. Yes, sir. There we go. Good to hear from you. Sorry, Marcia's not here. All right. So live stream, boom, boom. It's the order. When? Well, today. And package. I need measurements on that package. See if the camera will follow me back. Hey, there you are. All right. I know this doesn't seem like bookbinding to you. So let's see, 8.5, 8.5 inches. But this is part of my business, is I need to get things packaged up and sent out by 12 by 7. All right, there's that. And I'm going to need a weight. Oh, it'd be nice to have my binder back. All right, so I'm going to put that there. And put that there. That's a heavy box. Typically what I'll do is, since I don't have the labels printed, I'll put a couple sheets of paper on there to simulate that weight. And then all right, so been trying to get rid of the old business cards, the ones that are branded Crayons Bookbinding. It still gets to me, but so I'm going to throw a couple business cards in there. And then whenever I order parchment, they send me these printed bookmarks, which are kind of cool when you get your first couple, but they'll throw in like 50. I'll order, some parchment. I'll throw in like 50 of these things. I don't know what the hell to do with them. So I've been shipping them out with the boxes. So I'm going to throw some of those in there. Boom. All right. So I am at 4 pounds. All right. So I'm going to take this back over to the computer with me. Sorry, that's all the further the gimbal goes. All right. Let's see. So we started off with 715 for media mail. So I'm going to input the new data because this is all a little bit bigger. 12, 8.5 by 7, and with the new input, it's $5.75 to ship this to Scotia, New York. Let's put a thank you note. Purchase. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm printing out a label right now. And I'm going to print out a packing slip. I'm talking, I usually don't talk through this process, but you can't see me. My gimbal only goes so far. Boom. All right, so let's come back around me. I don't have the tray out, so I just spit those out on the ground. Let's get rid of this. Oop, there you go. All right, so I got a nice handy dandy packing slip here, which I'm going to scroll a big thank you on. And all this nonsense rolled up in there.
Those bookmarkers come in handy for people who read regularly.
Couldn't tell you.
I use the ones I had.
All right, there's that. And I put that tape away, didn't I? Sorry. Boom, boom, and done. You tired of looking at that wall? There is a packing list on this thing. Which I should keep. Ah. There's that. All right, now we can lose the end of the tape. We'll never find it again. Yeah, I'm one of those people that take the shit out of the box. All right, and I got a little invoice for me. I'll put this over here for a few minutes. At some point in the future, I may or may not ever buy a label making machine. I just print these out. Usually I'll glue them on the box or the package. In this case, since there's so much tape already on this package, I'm not going to glue it. I don't have that right kind of adhesive. So what I am going to do is put more tape on the box. There we go. Because that's just the way I am. Let's see. 2. Alright, so the one thing we want to do is not really put the tape completely over the tracking scanner, because apparently the reflection messes them up. All right. did a shake test. It does not move in there. So, yeah, so the package is ready to go. Woohoo! All right. We're going to mark another thing off the list. Fill the Etsy order. Okay, I've got a note here. One of the things I wanted to talk about was, hey, BookForge is actively looking for an apprentice. Now, I have a couple apprentices, Marcia, Sharon, and the person's name I cannot remember to save my life. And they're great. They're friends of mine. They come in, they help out. But they're not here on a regular basis. They're intermittent at best. And what I am looking for is a true apprentice, someone who wants to be here 5 days a week, who wants to learn the bookbinding trade to become a bookbinder. And ideally, I would like a younger person, because it takes like a decade to 15 years to master bookbinding. I would like to find someone who would like to take over this business when I retire, because I would like to retire. So if you know of someone who is interested in that kind of arrangement, conversations can be had. But I'm looking for someone, essentially I'm looking for someone who wants to be an apprentice and eventually evolve into a partner. Yeah, so there's my little plug for, hey, if you're looking to be a bookbinder, let's talk and see if this is actually right for you. It's a very niche market, but I don't think it's one that's going away. I don't think it's one that AI can touch. AI can spit out a list of instructions for someone who wants to conserve a book, but without the experience of being able to judge if that is right or wrong for the book, that process may or may not be right. And then there's the skill. There's one thing to have a list of steps. It's another thing to execute it, because when you're using knives and paste, if you don't understand how a certain material reacts to wheat starch or wheat paste or PVA or any other type of adhesive, you could really screw a project up. So, okay, there's the plug. If you're looking to be an apprentice or know someone who wants to be an apprentice, give them my number. Coffee.
I'm like 20 minutes up.
Alexa, how much time on the timer?
You have 2 minutes left on your 20-minute timer.
All right, so we did that. All right, so BookForge is going to be participating in the Erie Art Museum's Gallery Night. I'll be open all day anyway, because I think that's a Friday, June 23rd. So I'll be here all day, and then apparently I'm going to be here from 7 to 10 because Mark Tannenbaum, who is the manager of the PACA building, it's also known as the Meyer building. He also directs for the theater. He went and he paid for the year subscription for Gallery Night, which happens 4 or 5 times a year here in Erie. And so the entire building is participating in it. Now, every studio going to be open. There's like 30 to 40 studios here. Will they all be open? Probably not. But there's going to be enough that there's some interesting stuff going on here. You have a bookbindery, obviously. Right next door to me is a photographer. Next to him is Foundation Art. Next to her is another photographer who specializes in boudoir. I just lost my GoPro. The battery died. Diagonal, there's a woman over there who does book publishing, kind of like a print-on-demand, graphic design, photography, that kind of thing. Next to there is a practice room with an opera singer. I think there's a band that practices in there. There's 2 or 3 photographers down the hall. There's one in particular, Erica Whitting, fantastic fine art photographer. She doesn't just do baby portraits and weddings. So that's just my floor, and I'm on the 4th floor. Clay Space is down on the 3rd. There's a bunch of other fine artists down there. There's a frame maker. Alexa, stop. So it's definitely a building to explore, and gallery night would be an excellent opportunity. So if you are in Erie on June 23rd, which, Alexa, what day is June 23rd?
June 23rd, 2023 is on a Friday.
There we go. So if you're here on Friday, June 23rd, this building will be open to the public 7 to 10. It'll probably be open earlier than that, but that's it's gallery night time. Come on down, walk around the building, meet some of the artists here. To not do it it's just a shame. The talent that is in this particular structure is phenomenal. All right, so that was gallery night. Woohoo! I'm just checking my boxes off. Look at that. See what happens when I have something to go by? All right, so I should probably take a look at this Bible. Now my printer doesn't work very well, larger format. It won't do 2 sides. And I had, here, let's bop down there so you can see it. So I had Broshak Printing over on Peachtree print these up for me, and these are facsimile family birth record and death pages. Okay, so I can cut this open without ruining the page. Now, because I didn't disband her book completely, I wasn't able to get a scan of her pages. I tried a couple times, and I just couldn't get a good enough scan without discoloration, warpage, and so I took a book that I did have apart, and I scanned its pages in. So these pages are historically accurate. They are from the same time period. I believe her book was 1991 and these came out of it 1990. So I'm like right there. And I was able to get these beautiful, clean pages. I had to do some Photoshop work to get out all of the old family information, so they had fresh, clean, blank pages. But so one thing that I'm worried about. Oh, yeah, okay. So she was worried when they printed these that the lines didn't line up exactly. And that's okay, because there's, when these get tipped in, it's the difference in the gutter, and these will be fine. So what we're going to do here. Yep, these should all be identical. So I'm going to get everybody lined up. And you know what? I'm going to do this. Births, death, marriages. I had 2 sets made. In case I made a mistake in cutting, which is conceivable. Whole animator's trick. You know what? I'm going to sharpen my blade for this. So if we're happy with these Olfas, I'll order blades for them.
I love mine. I'm not giving it back to you.
Right, that was the intent, but you're going to run out of blades.
Oh, yeah.
So I will order some new blades. So I've got about 2 more sharpenings,
Oh.
and I will be, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So if you're wondering, I'm going to offer these cleaned files as digital downloads on the Etsy site. Etsy site is Cron's Bookbinding, all one word. I wish I could have BookForge there, but again, they tell me that I can't. But there's no one on there with BookForge, so I'm not sure what to do about that. I'm not even sure I'm going to stick with Etsy too much longer. Once my website is done, I may go back to using that exclusively. Between the fees, it just slipped. All right, so let's see how good I did. Nice. Okay, I'm happy with that. So they wanted 4 of each, so there's 2 births, 2 deaths, and 2 marriages. So 4 of each. Now the big question is, did I size them correctly? We're going to find out here in a minute. I'll try if I didn't. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. I know, I walked off screen again. I'm sorry. I'll be right back momentarily. Checking to see if there's any more comments. Nothing new. All right, so it's all good. grab another battery for, what did I go over there for? Grab another battery. I lost the camera again. Hey, you. For the GoPro. So this is my favorite part of the GoPro Hero 8 is they built this non-traditional camera mount. And it's just a pain in the butt to work with, but the batteries get pretty toasty. It's one of the reasons I didn't change the battery out right away is this camera can get really hot. Not a big fan of that either. And for me to hook this up to an HDMI cable, I have to have this media case that you put on it, because for some reason they took the HDMI jack out of it. I hate when they fuck with good things that were working. Yep, I swore. Sorry. And their accessories, well, I like the camera. Their accessories are junk. They break really easy. All right. So let's bring this over. So this is kind of fun. I found out that my printer will indeed print on papyrus, and it did a pretty good job of it. Yeah, I'm impressed. The detail, especially in this smaller text here. When I say text, I mean the hieroglyphics. Yep, so pretty pleased with that. So I get folks who, wedding officiants and that kind of thing, they'll want to put there. All right, so this is a Bible that we just restored. The hardware was hanging off of it. The spine plate was completely off. And it's now a solid book. Got the hardware all reattached. So what I do want to do, I got some cushions here. What are you looking at the ceiling for? That was weird. All right, so what I went to get, I plan on making a proper book cradle with these. One of the reasons I want that is, even though you restore these 19th century Bibles, these family Bibles, they are still brittle. So it's really good to have some sort of cradle to keep them from breaking. So what I want to do, just going to sit this in there nice. That way, when I do open this up, now this is a little bit steep, but it allows me to access the book without damaging it. To protect that spine plate, we did put in an Oxford hollow, so it flexes away from the spine, unlike the original tight back design. Or actually, I think this one originally did have an Oxford hollow, come to think of it. And I'm just looking to see where the family pages are. They're usually in the back, but I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, they've got some old. All right, maybe they're not in the back. There we go. Holy Matrimony. And then we got marriages, births, and deaths. So what I'm going to end up doing is after this one, so we want marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today. Like it. They're going to need to be trimmed down. I'm going to have to open up the book fully to tip these in, unfortunately. Or maybe, can I just move these out? That's closer. All right, I'm going to let the book open fully, and I'm going to put these after this because it doesn't fully match, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these away completely to let it fall open. Now these, like I said, these are slightly different. Than the originals, but I think this will be okay. So what I'm going to do, I need now, ideally, these would have been done in signatures or folios, but we did not dismantle this book and resew it. So we're opting to tip these in. Now there's not going to be a lot of pressure on these pages, so I'm not afraid of anything. But what I am going to do, so this is wheat starch, and I need a little brush. And I'm going to do these one at a time. I'm going to do one to one side and one to the other. All right, so I need a piece of this. All right, looks like we just lost the GoPro again for some reason. Yeah, it's not the best camera to use for something like this. I'm not happy with all of that. All right, so now pop this in there. I'm going to keep it to one side. All right, so now this one I'm going to do to this side. That way they're both tipped in to a different page. Now that'll have to be trimmed, and that's okay. I planned for that. But as far as the height, top to bottom, I think that's going to be pretty good. So what I'm going to do, open this back up to the berths, and all right, I wanted to put the berths, I thought it was two-sided. I wanted it after this. We got the births and deaths right in a row here. So the marriages will match. And I wanted those marriages first. All right, so now how do I do this? I'm going to put the births and deaths afterwards. Two births, two deaths. Not ideal. All right. So I'm going to put the births glued up to the left. I'm going to put the deaths glued up to the right. Anytime I'm working on a restoration, conservation type project, I always try and use wheat starch. It's reversible. Okay, there's the first birth. I'm going to put the second birth in. Yeah, I just couldn't see putting the births in front of the original births. That classic handwriting and kind of introduction to the section. So So again, keep in mind I'm going to be trimming these down. So now I'm going to tip in the deaths to the other side. Now I'll wait until everything's completely dry before I trim the edges. So you probably won't see it this session. So I'm sorry for that. But if you are signed up for our Patreon page, there will be a complete video of the restoration process of this particular book. And I highly recommend a little bit of signing up for the BookForge Patreon page, because we're going to have a lot of really cool content. All right, so and then one more to that side. All right, so you can probably see here, definitely got some pages sticking out. A little bit on the top, I'll have to trim that down. A little bit on the bottom, but not too bad. So what I am going to do I'm going to get a piece of cotton blotter. I'm going to put some weight on top of here, just to help that spine. Oh yeah, when I say weight, I don't mess around. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry for a few minutes. But it takes up my table. So let's... All right, so once that's dry, I will trim. What are you looking at? How long have you been posting over there? All right. Let's see. Time is it? Oh, we got about 15 minutes left. All right, so what I'm going to do, got a couple other things I wanted to talk about. BookForge is going to be participating in the City Gallery Art Camp. Our dates are going to be June 26th, July 10th, and July 17th. All three of those are Mondays, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. I don't know if I'll be able to post from that, given the kids and everything. Maybe we get some pictures of hands-on artwork. But so what we're going to end up doing, we're going to make these little. Can you hand me a photo book? Middle shelf, left-hand side. Right there on top. Yeah, just one. Doesn't matter. Both of them's fine. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the kids make something like this. Theirs are going to be half as thick, so they're going to have 5 pictures. But these they're little board books. Let's see if we can lean into this. And oh, not right side up. Sorry. Yeah. So they open up, and the little project we're going to do is made with postcards, and it'll be this series. So the kids will get 5 animals, and we're going to do this little board book. Now this comes out really thick, like a child's board book, and it's got a really cool breakaway spine. Now we're not going to get into a lot of super detail. We may or may not even do the breakaway spine. I think we might do the boards, glue them up, glue the spine, and maybe put a piece of decorative paper around it, and that way it'll flex like the inside does there, but won't necessarily have the mechanics of the breakaway spine. But so we're gonna make these cute little photo books. This is another one, a little bit thicker. So again, breakaway spine, and then of course the boards with the animals on it. Yeah, so that's going to be exciting. Oh, thank you. Again, I think all the spaces are full, so I'm just kind of like letting you guys know. We'll try and get some pictures of some sort. Like I said, I don't want to violate any of the parents or kids' rights or anything, so maybe we can just hands-on materials or something without faces. So that's going to be pretty cool. City Gallery is in the same building as I am. They're on the ground floor. Look them up on Facebook. Steve Chorosky and his wife, Lena, they do some incredible stuff around town. They've always got music going on down there. They have incredible shows, artists that you wouldn't normally get to see. Support these guys. They are wonderful people. Go there. City Gallery. It's on State Street. I think their address is 1503, 1501, 3, yeah, something like that, 1503. All right, so art camp, covered art camp. Woohoo! Okay, so the end of Animal Farm. It's the end of Animal Farm as we know it. So if you can see behind me, I've got stacks and stacks of books over here. Stacks and stacks of books. Those are all Animal Farm. I can't wait. Sometime next week, we're going to have them all on this table, different stages. We're going to take a picture of all 365, all laid out. It's quite the accomplishment. I've never done a book run that large, and the lessons learned have been incredible. So I'm probably going to sit down and do a lessons learned video, and I'm going to pass my experience on to you verbally. Take notes. If you think that you're going to have bookbinding as a business, take some notes. It's definitely possible. I made some mistakes. I also learned a few things, so I'll pass that on to you. We got some upcoming projects that I'm excited about. So I just showed you this 1891 family Bible that we just got done restoring. We just tipped in the papers, trim it up, and it's going to be good. She's going to pick it up on Monday. We had another one from 1850, which I just delivered to the client yesterday. I'm in the process of editing the video. I'm about, we'll call it 85% done with the initial editing. Then I'm going to go through and, areas that are just repetitious, I'm going to ramp up the speed a little bit. Right now, I think the video is sitting at 40 minutes. I would like to take it down to 25. So we'll definitely ramp up some speed there. But and then once I have all that done, I'm going to do the voiceover. I'm going to add some captions here and there, but it is going to be taking the Bible, assessing it, saying, okay, these are the things that are wrong. This is probably what I'm going to do. Then we're going to dismantle the Bible. We're going to take the spine plate off. We're going to remove the spine lining and the old glue, and that'll be everything that's in this particular video. And then the next one, we're going to do an initial spine lining to stabilize the spine so we can handle it. And then we're going to do a full assessment. So we're going to flip through it, and we're going to sit there and say, okay, this needs paper repair, this needs this needs that, and make a solid plan. And then there's going to be 10 videos in the series, and it's going to take you from when I first take a look at it and do my initial assessment to the finished work, where I'm waxing it and getting it ready for the client. The first one's going to drop on Monday, so I'm very excited about that. I'm going to try and keep up a pace where I drop one of those once a week for the next 10 weeks. We'll see if I can hold that pace, because right now the video's all been shot, so it's just a matter of getting a video edited each week. With that being said, I made a promise to one of my students who came to a workshop. His name is Dave. He wanted to know about cloth, book cloths, and how to make cloth and that kind of thing. So I still have that in works. I have not forgot about you. Animal Farm has been killing me, Dave. So, matter of fact, I need to write something down here. All right. So there's going to be a video on what types of cloth make a good book cloth. We're going to talk everything from buckram to taking something from Joann Fabrics or Sofo Fabrics or Hobby Lobby or whatever fabric store you have in your area, paperbacking it and making it book accessible. Other projects we have coming up, we've been trying to do Tool of the Week. I think I made 2 consecutive weeks once. It's more like Tool of the Month or Tool of the Quarter. This weekend, I'm going to shoot 4 videos, which will give me 4 weeks lead time. And we're going to be doing the nipping press, the lying press, the finishing press, and the job backer. And so hopefully tool of the week will be back up and running. So let's say Monday will be this Restoration Bible project being released. Either Tuesday or Thursday will be tool of the week. Wednesday, of course, is live. And Friday, I just might curl up and cry. I have another video that I'm going to be shooting this weekend, and it is on taking a Bradle case structure and applying the vellum to it from start to finish. So we'll start off with boards are already lined. The boards are already lined. The case is made, so you've got this lined board with the spine stiffener in it and everything. But to apply a stiff vellum to that board, start to finish, from getting it applied to the spine stiffener to getting it to conform to the grooves, and then finally gluing down to the boards and the turn-ins. We're going to cover that entire process. So I've got that video still coming up. Let's see. And then as I'm training Marcia up on 17th century flexible bindings, now this is sewn on raised cords. We're going to do Cambridge panel designs on it. So we're going to release a video of that process from start to finish. Stack of paper, finished pretty book. Again, that'll probably be just binding the book. It'll probably be 5 parts, maybe, give or take. And then doing the panel design will be 1 or 2 parts. So you have that to look forward to also. So you've just signed up. This is some cool stuff we have coming down the pike. And now that Animal Farm is starting to wind down, I can start winding up some of these other projects. We've also got some other cool stuff coming up. I want to show you guys some medieval girdle bindings. I want to show you limp vellum binding. We've got some modern book repair, which is horrific. We have a 1770 Nuremberg Bible. Come over here. We'll feature this on maybe next Wednesday. I'll pull this out and show you it. But this book is in deplorable shape, and we're going to restore it from start to finish. We were supposed to already start this. Then I had a heart attack, then COVID, and then Animal Farm took up the last. God, it seems like 6 months. I need to sit down and figure out what. I think it's been 6 months. Took way longer than I thought. Some of the issues were on me. Some of them were on, I think, the publisher. Some of it, I brought in people that were completely inexperienced, and I spent a lot of time putting out fires and fixing material and stuff that, yeah. All right. So a lot of talking there, a lot of plugs. I just want to do a final plug on Patreon. I have the live videos set for the public. And really what I want the public to see is, hey, this is what we're doing. We got these cool projects coming up. The lives are going to remain general public access. But a lot of these things, like the 17th century flexible binding, the full restoration of a 19th century family Bible, all of that is going to be behind the paywall. So if you're not signed up to a tier, you're not going to see those. You'll see the teaser videos for them. You might see a promotion video, but you're not going to see the process start to finish. And when we start doing other, I love the Bradle binding and the Bradle binding in 3 parts. I will probably have a start to finish project, which I'll release here on Patreon, but not to the general public. So this is my teaser. Hey, it supports me. It supports getting material in that for my apprentices, because they go through material, and that comes out of my pocket, and Patreon helps. I also need some better equipment. Right now we're using webcams. I would love to have a couple, 3, 4, my Switch will handle up to 4 mirrorless cameras as long as they have an HDMI out. I think the video quality would go up. I'm also looking at getting a couple lights to mount, so we've got better lighting. I sometimes get backlit. I'm afraid this summer I'm going to get very backlit, so the lights will probably be the first thing that I start investing in. But yeah, essentially here on Patreon, what I'm creating for you is to help me create better stuff for you. But I put the funds towards a lot of things here in the bindery. So I thank you. It is almost 3 o'clock now. I think I'm about done. I've talked about everything I could possibly talk about. The puppy's asleep, so I can't even show you puppy overload. I think we're done for the day. And again, I love the interaction part. Leave a comment. Even if it's just, hey, you. Even if it's, no, just kidding. Leave a comment. Let me know you're out there. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what you didn't like. Constructive criticism. Did you like the camera angles? Do you want me to change them? Do I say too much? Whatever. What do you want to see? Is there a particular binding structure that you've been longing to see that you want my particular slant on? There's a crisscross binding that we love to do, and just let me know what you want to see. All right. Looking forward to hearing from you. Welcome to the new people. Thank you to the older folks. Not older, the ones that have been with me for a while. You know what I mean. All right. Hey, you guys take it easy. I'm going to go kill the live stream. Edward Kranz, Honey Badger Binder, BookForge, signing off.